Welcome back to another episode of Paper Mountains Podcast, where we have fun conversations about life. Today is going to be a great day. I'm having the opportunity to talk to one of my old friends, Billy Mullins. Billy is one of the most genuine people I know. He enjoys life, is a proud owner of the Mystery Machine, and I can guarantee that he knows almost everyone in Northwest Ohio. It's always a pleasure when we have the chance to catch up because he will always have an amazing story to share. What more do I need to say? Please welcome Billy Mullins.
Pleasure, man. Glad you asked me to do this.
Sure. Thanks for doing it. Cheers.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's start off. How you been, man?
Pretty good. I'm always well. Man. I always stay genuinely happy. I'd like to think.
Yeah, and I agree 100% because we don't see each other too often, but every time we do, you always put a smile on my face.
Oh, I always try to.
Yeah, you're always happy. You're always coming over and make an initiative to say hi at least and have a brief moment of catching up.
Yeah, like what you were saying in your intro that a lot of people know me. That's just because every time I see somebody, I'm always happy to see them. Everybody I've ever met, I'm always happy to see them.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know. I always try and find the good in every person I've ever met. You always got common ground with everybody you ever meet. And I just think that you just got to find that common ground with somebody. Every time you see them, just try and make them happy that you're there.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So, as I was saying right before we started recording, I was trying to do a little bit of research, have, something I could bring up, but online you're pretty cryptic. Don't have like too much about yourself. So, can you just run down a day in the life of Billy Mullins?
Typically, I go to work every day. I'm a stickler about not going to work pretty much, so I always go to work. Even if I'm deathly ill, I'll still probably go, and they'll be like, you got to leave. But so I usually go to work, and then after work, I always like to bust some suds up at Sunny Jack's there up the road, and then head home, hang out, go to bed, wake up, do the same thing the next day.
Where do you work at?
I work at a place called DNS. We test nursing assistants for the state of Ohio, like New Jersey, Massachusetts, just a bunch of state contracts, and pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. I've actually done it since I was 15.
Oh, no shit.
Yep. 13 years now, and I've been with that company, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I lied on my resume. I said I was 1 year older. Told them I was 16 so I could start working. And then, yeah.
So, no shit. So you said 16 years?
Yeah, 16 years.
That's fucking wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
So do you enjoy doing it?
Yeah, well, it started out, people always get a kick out of this, is I started out when I was 15. This lady was like, hey, like, you want a job? And I was like, yeah, sure. That sounds interesting. What do I got to do? Like, I'll show up. She's like, you just lay in a bed and people wash you. I'm like, what? And I'm like, what? I can't get paid for that. My mom will never sign that paper. and she talked to my mom, and sure enough, she was doing the STNA testing, and I would lay in a bed and have women change my socks and wash my arms and wash my face and, like maneuver me from a bed to a wheelchair. I was just pretending to be an old person.
That's awesome.
An actor is what they call it.
Yeah. One of my favorite things, because I knew you worked in some sort of branch off of the Blanchard Valley Hospital. That's kind of what my level of understanding was. There's some affiliation with the hospital.
Oh, no, not at all.
Not even at all?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I guess just medical industry somewhat in Findlay, Ohio then.
Yeah, we just test the nursing assistants over there sometimes.
Okay.
So it's a little affiliated, I guess.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite memories is one of my computer hard drives was busted, and I just went in there and was like, man, I found you guys randomly online. You guys can fix my hard drive, right? And you come walking out of the back door, and I was like, Bill, what the hell are you doing here? And then like these guys just turn and all look at you like, how do you know every single person that walks in this door?
Yeah, that's funny. That's our IT department. There's like also like a company that fixes computers and stuff, and I always go back there and always talk to them. Yeah, randomly walk in one day, and I'm like, where's Jared at? And then I walk over and you turn around. I'm like, what are the chances of this? I was like, hey, how's it going, dude? Yeah, and they were right after you left. They were like, man, I swear, Bill, you know, like every human being. It's like I know everywhere I go, I always run into somebody I know. Yeah. It's always like, hey, I remember you.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I mean, it's always good, just like you said, to put a smile on someone's face, and that's cool that you make that initiative.
And also, there's like people that like I've never even met before, and then they're like, they see me and they're like, hey, I know you. And I'm like, how do you know me? And they're like, I seen you on what's his face's Snapchat, or you know, somebody was sneaking pictures of you the other week doing something goofy.
All right, man, I love it. So I have to ask, I don't know if I've ever even heard this full story either. The staple of Billy Mullins has become the Longhorn's stocking cap.
My stocking cap.
Is there a story behind that of why that's a signature attire now?
To be honest with you, I always had a Texas hat. I have my original one somewhere. This is my original orange one that I wear every day. But I used to have a ball cap, and it got worn out. And so I just didn't wear a hat for a little tiny bit of time in my life. And then, I was really affected by that because I couldn't have a thing on my head. And it was like Christmas, and my boss, that when I was like 15, 16, I was still working with her. And this is when I was like 22. And she's like, I got you a bunch of Christmas gifts. And she gave me a Texas hat, this very hat, actually, this exact one. And I put it on, and she's like, you think you'll wear it? And I said, I don't think I'm going to take it off. And I still see her every now and then, and she's always like, man, I tell you what, that's probably the best Christmas gift I've ever given anybody because you never take that thing off. But now I got like 7 of them. Yeah. Because every year I usually get one just because I don't want to wear out my original.
Yeah. Is that, do you find yourself wearing it just so that way you can focus on other things, or you just love it that much?
I love the hat one. This is like, it fit me perfect. Like the moment I put it on, I was like, man, this is dead perfect to my head. Yeah. Perfect. I don't even feel it most of the time. Like people are like, how are you wearing a stocking cap? I was playing kickball yesterday. People are like, dude, how are you not dying?
90 degrees outside.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even know it's there. Like most of the time. I'll get in the shower sometimes, go wash my hair. I'm like, oh, my hat's still on. And my mom told me the other day, she's like, I don't think I've seen you without a hat on in like 4 years, and I find that weird. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not taking it off, if that's what you're asking me. And, yeah, so I just always wore it. And I also kind of think to get, like, you ever read The Catcher in the Rye? You ever read that book?
I have not.
And when I read it in high school, I was like, that's lame as hell. Like, that makes no sense. But then when I got older, I kind of, like, you see yourself like, oh, I can kind of relate to this kid. And in the book, he wears a hat. And he never takes his hat off because he feels that people judge him for wearing his hat all the time. And he said the people that actually do talk to you, they actually want to see the good in you, not just, you know. And I don't know, I can see that. Yeah. Like, you know, like people are like, man, I'm not talking to that guy. He's a weirdo. He's wearing a stocking cap. It's 98 degrees out, and we're at a baseball field. I'm not talking to him. But then you get, you know, some nice person that's like, what's going on with that hat, man? You got to tell me. Like, I don't know. I always wear it.
Yeah, I like it. Somewhat of maybe like don't judge a book by its cover sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess in like some sense out there.
Yeah. Nice, man. That's awesome. I'm glad to officially know the origin story of the Longhorns hat.
Yeah, yeah. And I got a little drunk one time, and I wrestled my friend Casey. It was dead of winter, and I lost it out in the field or something. And I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? Like, Bill Mullins without a hat. Like, what is going on? And so I wore a Bromac hat for a little while. And I was like, man, this is messed up. So I had to have my mom order me a new hat. And that hat came in, and then the summer rolled around. My buddy's dad was mowing the lawn and was like, what is that? Got off his mower, and it was my hat. He's like, that's Bill's hat. He gave it back to me. I was like,
oh no shit. Yeah. So that was the original?
Yeah, this one right here.
Nice, man. So as people watching might notice, we have a different setup here for this episode. We're in your house that you recently purchased?
Yeah, about December,
Nice.
late December.
How was so homeowner for almost 6 months now, around 6 months? How's that been for you?
I think it's like it's got goods and bads, you know. I mostly good though. I love owning my own house, and I love living alone. Like I can genuinely do whatever I want in the confines of my home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing, and it's right up the street from Sonny Jack's, so I can just skateboard home.
Nice. Oh, I didn't know you're a skateboarder either.
Yeah, well, longboard. I usually longboard up to the bar and then back.
Nice. So with coming to Nurigal, hanging out Sunny Jack's, being out with your friends, what's it about Sunny Jack's that you like so much? Why is that the superior bar for a hangout spot?
Oh, it's a dive bar, man. It's the best kind of bar, dive bar.
Why is that?
I don't know. I've always felt at home. Like my dad owned bars growing up,
Okay.
so when I was like, I don't know, like 13 to 16, my dad always, probably like 18, my dad always owned a bar, so I always hung out at the bar with him. So I was like a bar rat before I was even old enough to drink. I would just sit there and play pool all the day. And yeah, just like, you know, just the locals sitting around, just bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you go to like clubs and stuff, it's like just people dancing, everyone's sloppy drunk, you know.
Yeah.
There you're more like, it's almost like a family, you know. It's like, hey, what's going on? Hey. You know, I walk in and it's like, hey, 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 hey.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, totally. You know, seeing your friends, seeing familiar faces, everybody, you know, it's a part of a routine.
You know everybody's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good feeling when you walk into a bar when you're like, man, everybody's here that I know.
So what do you do? Say it's a Friday night and you know everybody that's hanging out at Sunny Jack's and there's an unfamiliar face walking in. What's your first reaction? Are you territorial of your bar of not letting people in, or are you very open and like, all right, let's figure this character out?
I will always talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll talk to anybody and everybody. And I always give everybody equal opportunity. It's funny you say that, though, because I was just reminiscing the other day, because someone was like, what was it like the first time you went to Sunny Jack's? And I was like, that's actually pretty funny. I used to go to Jed's in Findlay all the time.
Yeah.
And that was like my local hangout. And Jed's closed, so I was at home one day, sitting there, and my mom was like, why don't you, and I think she said it in a joking manner. She's like, why don't you go up to the bar uptown? Since your bar closed, why don't you go to the bar uptown?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, why don't I? I don't know, whatever, I'll go down there. So I walked in, there's some locals down there, and I'm sitting there, and I mean, yeah, like they were like, all right, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, like I feel so out of place. I really did. I was like, man, I don't know anybody in here. And there's not very many people in here. And I seen a pool table. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna come here and I'm just gonna become the pool guy, the guy that just plays pool relentless. And I was hitting 100 balls in every day. Like I would go to Sunny Jack's, sit there with Jack and Coke, hit 100 balls in.
Would you not talk to anybody yet?
No, I didn't. Nobody wanted to talk to me, so I just didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they said at the other end of the bar, all the old guys. And then, like, probably my 5th day in there, I'm, like, sitting at the bar waiting on quarters, and Kenny Kessler was there. And he was like, who you belong to, young man? and I said, I was like, my mom's Regina, and she dates a guy uptown here, Chauncey. And he's like, Chauncey, good guy. And the next day I walked in that bar, and everybody was like, that's Chauncey's stepson. they already knew. Like I was like, geez, word travels fast around here.
Yeah. And game over since then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So you said something there that was pretty interesting. You know, there's so many times where I'll go up there or see you and you be playing pool. We went to that pool bar in Philly that one time where I meet up with you and Mason. Is that where you learned to play pool, or did you know to play pool? Because you're kind of serious and you kind of fucking rock at it.
Oh yeah, I like to think I'm pretty good at pool.
Yeah.
But I learned pool from when my dad owned bars. I wasn't old enough to drink, and he would always just open the pool table for me. And he would just be like, play until somebody wants to play. He's like, but never give up the table. He's like, make them beat you. And I was like, okay. So I used to just sit there, and I don't know why. It was when I was younger. I was like, hey, as long as I hit 100 balls in every day, like that'll like boost it. And I would just sit there and play pool, and then 22-year-olds would come in, and they would be like, hey, like, you mind if we get on this? And I'm like, my dad would always be like, hey, you got to play him for it. And they would always send up some guy, and that's like, and they would all be like, beat this little kid so that we can play pool. And then like I would sometimes beat him.
Yeah.
Like that was always the best feeling. So I like always strive to try and win in those days.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell. When we played game pool, man, you're in the zone. You're there to be serious about it.
Yeah. Sometimes. Other times, you're just playing, and I don't know. A lot of times now, like I don't take winning as serious.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like at the end of the day, I'm like, whatever. I think I could have got him. But yeah, I like to just
have you ever done like a pool league or tournament or anything?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. I just like playing at just pubs.
Yeah.
You just meet some guy out there. It's always fun too when you see some, and it's so funny, like there's so many different type of pool players. Like there really is. There's like the guy that's like, oh, I haven't played pool in years. And you're like, okay, dude, like, all right. And then you got guys who are like, I'm legitimately pretty good. Like, I'm probably going to beat you.
Yeah.
I always like that, too. And, you got, like, just cocky guys. You got talkers. Oh, my God. That always cracks me up. Yeah. I like talking, too. Just jawing someone's ear off while they're trying to play pool. I just get in their head.
Yeah.
Live in there rent-free.
Nice, man. Skateboarding, pool, hanging out Sign Jacks, meeting new people. Is there any other hobbies or things that you just like doing in your time, Bill?
I don't know, like hobbies. Usually I collect a lot of lighters.
Yes.
That's a huge hobby of mine.
Let's go into that a little bit. Where did that start from? Because I can see from here, it's not on camera, but there's maybe a couple hundred lighters sitting out on the floor. You have a whole stack right here.
That's funny you said a couple hundred over there.
How much is it?
Well, right here, this is 100.
Oh, shit. Okay, so there's a lot over there then.
Yeah, there's about 760 over there. And there's 50 there. There's probably 50, 60 in the gumball machine.
Oh, shit, dude. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I got a lot of lighters. There's probably 12 right here.
Well, what's that for? Why do you like collecting lighters?
Funny enough, when I was younger, I was like, man, I need a hobby. That's really what I thought. I was like, man, I really need a hobby or like something to collect. Like I quit collecting baseball cards like years ago. I was like, I just want to collect something. And I just thought, man, lighters are cheap, and that is not true. Like it was cheap in my head. I was like, man, $2 here and there. Just start collecting, and then I spent $32 at the gas station the other day.
Buying lighters?
All lighters. I was like, my God, they got 2 sets I don't have. They're plucking them.
I was going to say, is there rhyme or reason to ones you collect, just mostly ones that you don't have?
Yeah, the ones I don't have. If I see a lighter I don't have, I got to have it.
Yeah.
Whether it's in someone's pocket or at a gas station. If I'm at a bar and I see a lighter I don't have, I'm like, how much you want for that? I'll give you $3, and I'll give you a brand new lighter. Like I got a black one in my pocket.
All right, man. So I want to take this time to officially apologize because Cookie relayed some information to Morgan before we went to Texas last month. We were supposed to get you a BIC lighter, but I was never informed of this information.
Oh, my God. I didn't even thought about messaging you because I was like, can I trust Morgan?
Yeah, and it was completely forgot until we came back, and it was like, oh, yeah, we were supposed to look for a BIC lighter for Billy. And I was like, well, we're already back now. God damn it.
Yeah, that would have been nice if he came over and was like, I got you something.
I would have, yeah, totally. I would have liked to. I was like, I don't got anything now. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. It kind of sucks too. 'Cause whenever people are traveling, I'm always like, hey, can you pick me up some lighters? Like I'll pay you for them. Just because like they're regional. So like around here we get like Cleveland and like the Detroit Lions and like football brands, and then in like Texas they get like Dallas Cowboys and stuff like that. And that's really what I wanted.
God damn, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Like the Astros won the World Series, and I was like messaging like a girl I know in Texas. I was like, you think you could pick me up a couple of those, mail them to me?
Yeah. Nice, man. Well, I'll keep it in the back of my head. You know that I enjoy traveling, and me and Morgan go to places. So if I happen to see one, I'll pick them up. Even if you got one of that model already, that's fine.
Oh no, that still means something to me. Even if I have, John, the owner of the bar, bought me lighters for my birthday. Yeah. I thought that was funny. I was like, man, John, that's pretty cool. Actually, he bought me that one right there.
Nice.
Every lighter has a story too. Like I don't usually just retire them immediately. I always like to use them for a little while. This way I remember them. And I usually give a couple to my one buddy, and I'm like, use these for a little bit and then bring them back to me. Yeah. Because I like it when they get like little scuff marks and stuff on it because it's got a story then.
Yeah, that's good, man. I see in this front row, we got some posters. You got tattooed the Nirvana. Why is the support and love for Nirvana come from?
I don't know. I just always related to it. Like the music is so good.
Can I tell you a story? So the first time I found out you enjoyed listening to Nirvana, I don't know the album for sure. I want to say MTV Unplugged album. You had it in your car, and you said, this is like the only thing I listened to for the past 2 years. It's the only CD in there. Is that still?
No,
okay.
My dad sells a lot of my cars without my knowledge.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like he does that like religiously. Because I got a lot of muscle cars. Mm-hmm. I've always had like a muscle car or two. And I park it at my dad's house for winter. And then I'll come and I'll be like, where's my car? And he's like, oh, man. He's like, I traded it. And I'm like, for what? And he's like, something cooler. And that's like, Jesus, Dad. But yeah, he sold my Nirvana CD.
You lost it?
Yeah, it was the Unplugged album. And yeah, Denise Ritter made that album for me at Sunny Checks, the bartender.
Yeah.
And yeah, I listened to that every single day.
Yeah. For how long?
Probably about 2-3 years.
It's a good one to listen to.
Well, it was just like convenient. Like every time you start the car, the CD would just come on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whatever song it was on, it was like, all right.
Yeah. Nice. Do you still passionately listen to Nirvana, or is it just part of everything else anymore?
No, I listen to a lot of Nirvana still, but yeah, I'm like, I listen to the same songs all the time. Yeah. I can't get into new stuff most of the time.
Yeah, I got the last podcast episode I recorded was with Dylan Reinhardt, and we talked about a little bit of artificial intelligence and shit. Just to bring it up briefly again, but there's an AI generated Nirvana song that you should check out that was on that album. So so they took a bunch of Nirvana songs, spit it in this AI generator, wrote lyrics to a new song, and
oh yeah, I've seen those before.
Yeah. So they did one for Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, and then they sived through the internet, found a cover band that come in and sing the song for it, and it's pretty interesting. So you should check it out.
I will. Yeah, I have seen those. I've seen like the Ed Sheeran ones.
Oh,
and like
they
those
got
ones.
one.
Yeah, and it's like they just like mumble all their lyrics into one, and then it spits out. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I'll have to check that out.
Another thing we talked about, I'm curious on your thoughts. Do you have any conspiracy theories or shit that you get into like that you find interesting?
Oh man, I like conspiracy theories, but anybody can get you to believe anything on YouTube, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, conspiracy theories. Well, some of them I feel like are genuinely are not conspiracies. Like it's 100%.
Okay, what are those?
Well, Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah. That's I 100% agree with that one as well.
Okay. So, and I don't know. I think the JFK thing that just, oh man, there's something about that just irks me. Just because the way his brother died. Like if you look into his brother's death, And now I'm gonna sound like the crazy conspiracy theory guy, but no,
I'm not trying to paint you.
no.
Somebody.
But if you look into JFK's brother's death, that is like sketchy. That is as sketchy as all get out.
Okay.
Like his like the guy they arrested for, and oh man, I don't want to go into in depth because I'm not, because then people would be like, he's wrong. That
Yeah.
Maybe I watched this thing like 13 years ago about it, but it was like they arrested the guy and the guy didn't remember anything. He just remembers people tackling him. He said he didn't know why he was there. Like, it's still weird. He's still like around, I think. But yeah, and that just weirds me out. Just like they killed your brother, and then his son dies in a plane crash.
At some point, is there too much coincidences where it
I don't know.
seem...
What are the chances of an entire family dying in
I agree, man.
assassinations?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
How often does a plane go down?
I have no idea the numbers, but yeah, you don't hear about it all the time.
You never hear about it.
Yeah,
Except for like Malaysia. That was the last time we heard about like planes disappearing or crashing.
yeah.
I don't know. You think it's more common than you think? Because you got to think there's a lot of tiny aircrafts that go down there. Just like
Yeah,
whatever.
I feel like small aircrafts all the time, but I don't know, man. It is crazy to think about. I've never really went into the. I know of the Kennedy, the JFK like conspiracy, but not of the entire Kennedy family conspiracy. I've never thought of that or looked into that at all, so I have no basis.
Oh, yeah. That one always irks me. Like, the whole family
Yeah.
essentially wiped out. And they were very, very high up in the political community.
Yeah, man, that's wild. Okay. Sorry, I keep changing. I feel like I'm changing a bunch of directions on you all the time. But I feel like I might have cut you a little short on your hobbies. You're getting ready to talk about other stuff. It seemed like the lighters and then the muscle cars. You mentioned that.
Oh, yeah. I've always had a bunch of muscle cars growing up.
Yeah.
I guess you could consider it a hobby. Me and my dad, I sold my dad my first car. It was a 92 Camaro. It was turquoise. It was badass. I was the coolest kid on the block, I'll tell you that much. And I thought I was. And my dad's bartender needed a car. So he was like, give me that car. And so he sold it to some guy. And he's like, yeah, and then I'll trade it for something better. And I was like, all right, cool. And like we just searched online all the time. I was always sending him stuff like, hey, we could trade it for this, trade it for that. And he was like, we just started rolling with it, and we were like trading. And then we all ultimately, like 4 or 5 years ago, he was like, we got that Corvette, my white one.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, we're done. Like, we're done. I'm taking this car. We're done here. Like, I'm going to pay you off. And so I bought that car out. And I was just like, I'm done with it. Like, and then like a couple months later, he's like, if you give me $3,000, we could start buying cars again. I was like, all right, let's do it, man.
So, are you still looking at new cars
Every day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about just finding new cars that you like?
I don't know. I just love driving something new.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like, I don't know. I love having fun with something, and then it's like, well, if we trade for this, then we can figure out what's wrong with this car and what we like about this car.
Yeah. You can do something. Yeah, it's like a new little project every single time.
Yeah.
So, is there one on the horizon or specific type of car that you're really after?
I don't know. I made a list one time when I was younger, like all the cars I want to own, and like Cadillac hearse was definitely on there. I always wanted a hearse, which we had a hearse. We had an '02 Cadillac hearse. We used to drive it to the bar, and oh man, that thing was fun. And when you drive a hearse, I don't know if you knew this, but if you cut people off, nobody's mad. You can do no wrong in a hearse.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, nobody gets angry at you. And people are just like, ah. And I'm like, yeah.
Is that one gone now? Was that traded and sold?
Yeah, we traded the hearse for a dune buggy. My stepmother was like, this thing is too big. Get it out of here. It scares the children. And So I was like, well, we can just go for something smaller. So we got a dune buggy, and that thing was a death trap. It was petrifying. We had the steering wheel would come out if you turn too sharp to the left. It would just pull up to your chest, and you're like, uh-oh. And I put a footprint gas pedal in it.
Yeah.
And one day, me and my buddy were cruising out of the gas station, and I go to push the brake, and the footprint gas pedal shifted over in front of the brake, so I couldn't get the brake down, and it was just like, wow. And I was like, oh, my God. I put it in neutral, and I start turning to the left sharp because I was like, I'll just do a U-turn, and the steering wheel pops out, and I'm like, oh, God. So I'm, like, trying to brake. We just go into this ditch. We backed it out. No more than backed it out like we were pulling out again. Police officer drives by, and we're like, hey, how's it going, you know? Have a good day. I'm like, dude, that thing was sketchy. Or you're like on a highway and you can only do like 60. So like semis are passing you and you're catching the draft and it feels like you're in the Harry Potter car, like going off the Hogwarts.
Yeah. So that was a quick turnaround as well. That one's gone.
Yeah, that thing was petrifying. But I actually kind of wanted to keep it because my game plan was I wanted to paint it up like Speed Buggy from Scooby-Doo. You remember that guy? Like, pop, 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 pop. You remember that guy?
I don't think I know that one.
Oh, okay. There was like episodes of Scooby-Doo where Speed Buggy was on there. And it's like a dune buggy, and it's orange, and it has a yellow bar.
Okay.
And I wanted to get my dune buggy painted up like it.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be cool. And I took it to this guy, and I was like, yeah, you ever watch Scooby-Doo, Speed Buggy? And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, I own a mystery machine. And I was like, no way. And he's like, you look like a guy that would buy a mystery machine. And I was like, yeah. And I looked at it, and I was like, no way, man. No way. And he was like, yeah. He's like, would you want to trade? And I was like, oh, those are the magic words. Yeah, I traded him for that. It's crazy how many offers I get for the mystery machine.
I believe it. I mean, it looks as authentic as you can get for a mystery machine painted up van.
Yeah, it cracks me up, too. It's funny, too, because when the guy gave it to me, he said, don't stop anywhere. He's like, if you're going somewhere, don't stop. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, the brakes are, like, messed up or something? He's like, no. He's like, people will keep you for a half hour, no problem. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I didn't believe it, really. We stopped at a gas station driving this thing home. And, like, when we walked in the gas station, there's nobody there. We walk out, and this was, like, the busiest gas station you ever seen. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm, like, sitting there pumping gas. And I was with my buddy Fat Jay, and he's like, dude, you see all these people? I'm like, yeah, what is going on? He's like, dude, they're taking pictures of your car. Like, that's what they're doing. And, like, people are, like, pulling up. They're like, hey, what year is it? And then the one guy's like, can I run home and get my dog? I was like, well, this is insane. I was like, Jesus, Jay. Like, this is the real deal. Oh, you can't go anywhere either. Like, so many people are waving.
Have you enjoyed having it, though?
Oh, yeah. You put a smile on everybody's face you drive by.
Yeah.
Like, every human being you drive by, they're like, oh, man, it's not every day you see the mystery machine.
No, man, I shit you not. Every time I drive home from work, and I drive by it, you got it parked out in your yard, and I smile every time I look at it. Every day.
Yeah, it cracks you up. And the other day we went out partying, and I come home from a long night's party, and I'm like, what is that? And Mason was over here, and I was like, is that there's a Scooby-Doo tied to my mystery machine. Somebody's tied a Scooby-Doo to my mystery machine.
Yeah.
Like a little stuffed animal. That cracked me up.
No, man, I love it.
So whoever did that is funny, and I got a good kick out of that.
That's awesome. I have this thought when you tell stories, Bill, that at least from this conversation of where you talk about how you do one thing and it leads you to down the road and you enjoy having stories and seeing that kind of progression. Do you believe in things happening for a reason, or do you think it's like this completely random, chaotic mess and this is just what happens?
That's a good question. I would say, yeah, definitely things happen for a reason, 100%.
Okay.
I just feel like, I don't know, like, how many times have you been somewhere? Well, I don't know if this might just be my life, not necessarily yours, but when you're like somewhere and somebody's like, you're talking to somebody completely random, you have no idea who they are, and they're like, they say something or do something, and you're like, I know you. And then they're like, how do you know me? And then you like go like through this progression of your life, like, when could have I ever met you? And then like you catch something.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's connected in some way.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a bottom line, like you have to find where you know that person from.
Yeah. It's interesting. I agree. I don't know. I balance back and forth on things happening for a reason. A part of me thinks that it is crazy if it is completely random, like this random chaotic thing where it's just like, and you do find those coincidences and like times where you've been in the same place as this person you meet in the new time. I don't know, man. That's fucking like hard to comprehend of like why that would occur on the side, like how big the earth is.
Yeah. Everything, it's a small world for sure.
Yeah. And there's always that time. And in my introduction, I made it sound like it happens all the time with you, where people are like, this guy just knows everybody.
I was at a party one time, and this was huge. Like, and I was like in Athens. There was a huge party there, so I was like standing at this party, and I was like, man, there's just too many people around me. I just need to like go to a corner and like drink and like cool off. And that's my style. I always leave. Like, I hang out with Marcus all the time, and me and Marcus, we both have this thing where you're with a group of people, and you're like, hey, I'm going to take off for a little bit. I'll run into you guys later. And that's how I am. Every time we go out to bars, we're 100% crossing bridges is what we like to call it.
Yeah.
I'll cross the bridge when I get there. And so, like, I always did that, and I forgot where I was going. But
just about like meeting people or
yeah,
and shit like that.
Yeah, and I walk over to this guy, and we're sitting there talking, smoking stinkies, and he's like, yeah, talking about something, and I'm like, dude, I swear I know you. And he's like, no, you don't know me. I was like, nah, man, I swear, like, you look like this guy I know. And he's like, how do you know him? I'm like, he told me this funny story one time. And he's like, about what? I was like, pooping his pants. And I at a party, like, I just met the guy. He told me a story about him pooping his pants, and I thought it was the funniest story I've ever heard in my life. Like, I literally was crying, laughing. And he's like, he pooped his pants? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, he's on his way to Virginia Beach, and he pooped his pants. And the guy was like, that's me. And I was like, no way. He's like, I swear to you, dude, I did that. And he's like, I was like, no way. And I was like, yeah, you told me that story at a house party in Tiffin. And he's like, what? He's like, I've only been to Tiffin one time in my entire life.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, and he just coincidentally was at a party and told me he pooped his pants, and I thought that was the funniest thing.
How are you able to remember and recall like events and conversations? Dude, because when you tell stories, man, I feel like I'm there. When you just told that story, I felt like I was in place sitting right beside you watching all of this go down. Have you always been able to remember shit like insane detail to be able to recall it?
Yeah, and I think it's because, like, every time people see me, they're like, Bill's going to tell me something funny. And I feel like when something funny happens to me, which sometimes I think that, like, things aren't really funny, but just when I retell the story, like, I can kind of make it funny.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, and, like, just in the detail of me telling the story once to somebody, the next time I tell the story, I can remember me telling the detail of what happened from the last time.
Do you enjoy telling stories?
Oh, I love telling stories, man. I'm like I just get on these power trips where I'm just like telling story after story, and I'm like, I need to shut up.
Why?
I don't know.
I think it's awesome.
No, my buddy Fat J all the time. He's like, Bill, you tell too many stories.
I disagree. I don't know Fat J, but I love the stories, Bill.
Yeah, well, everybody likes a couple, but when you heard them 14 times, it's like, I hang out with you every day.
That's fair. If you hear the same ones every time.
Yeah. Well, it's an issue, like, when something happens to me I'm hanging out with him or something, and then someone shows up, and they're like, hey, what happened to your face or something. Like, my face was busted up the other day because I fell on my skateboard. I was like, this happened, and I told the story, and everyone's like, that's hilarious, Bill. And then the next person shows up, and like, what happened to your face? And she's like, oh, my God. I fell on a skateboard. Jesus.
So then that will happen 14 times in a row, and then he's got to endlessly hear the same story.
Yeah. And it's just all night. He's like, I heard that story like 14 times.
I get it, but man, I love the stories. Maybe it's because it seems like so far and few between. Every time I see you, it's like, hey, bring them on, man. This is the time I have with Bill. I'm gonna enjoy every moment of it that I can.
Yeah.
So just as we took that little break, Bill, we were talking about the mustache.
Oh yeah.
That's another staple for your appearance. Why do you like growing the mustache out?
Oh, I've just always been good at growing the mustache. Like, that's the first thing that came in on me. And I remember when I was younger, it was like you pull on it and it hurt. And I was like, that's just not developed yet.
Yeah.
And then today, like, I can.
I can't relate, man. I cannot grow facial hair to save my life. So
Yeah, I can't. It comes in all redneck for me, like Joe Dirt style. Missing those, but yeah, it just always came in pretty well. So I was like, whatever, it's what I got. So I got to rock it,
Yeah.
And I think at this point, like, I get kind of respect from like even the bearded guys that they're like, yeah, that's a nice mustache.
It's long, man. How long has it been since you cut that one that you got right now?
Couple months. I can't think. Shout out to Cody Stallard on this one. Because I know if he's ever watches this, he'll be like, I hope he brings up that story. The last mustache I had, I was at the bar, and Cody was there, and he said, I'll bet you your mustache on a pool game. And I was so juiced for it, man, because I was like, I want to see him shave. So, like, I was, like, juiced. And I was like, there ain't no way Cody's beating me. Like, ain't no way. I was in the zone, too.
Oh, so if you beat him, he would have to shave, and
Yeah.
you would have to shave if he beat you.
Yeah, and he didn't have anything too great going on, but I still was like, still want to see his little baby face at the bar. And he gets up there, and I racked him, and I was like, dude, I'm about to murder him. Like, I know it. And no joke, he literally said, I'm just going to hit the 8-ball in on the break, so I ain't even got to play you. And I was like, whatever. Breaks it, hits the 8-ball in on the break, wins the game. And he pulled me to the side, and he's like, you really don't have to do it. He's like, that's a nice mustache, so please don't do it. And I was like, no. And I went home, I shot a video of me just, whoop. And, oh, man. Then you always have that weird stage where everyone's like, no.
And now you're to the point where you're like, okay, I'm back. I feel in my element, and I'm back to being myself now.
Right. Right. And then, yeah, so every time I run into Cody, he's like, mustache is looking good, Bill. You ready to lose it?
Man, dude, there's so much shit here. I could just want to like talk to you about, ask you questions about your room and hang out here.
Personally, I love when people ask me about like stuff that I own, because I generally think that I buy very strange things.
Yeah. I know we're not shooting everything that's on camera, but there's something here that really sticks out to you as a memory or a good story or some sort of personality behind it?
Yeah, there's a couple things. I got this Spud McKenzie here. That's an original Spud McKenzie in its original wrap.
Oh, no shit?
Yep. And funny enough, my ex, her grandpa had one in his original wrap, and like I was always like, man, I really want that. I really, really want that. And then I went garage selling one day, and some guy was selling one. I was like, I gotta buy it. So I always loved that. I don't know why I love that so much. And then I got G.I. Bill here.
G.I. Bill.
Yep. That's my face on a G.I. Joe.
Is it actually you? Because it looks like you.
Yeah, it is me. I had to take pictures of my face, and they printed it on there.
They made it for you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. That always cracks me up.
Can I take a look at it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I saw it sitting there. I'm like, that looks like fucking Bill. I thought it was just a coincidence, and you had it. That's awesome, man. Even's got the hat.
Yeah, well, that was another hat that a dog ate. And I was like, oh, man, what can I do with that?
It's off an original hat.
Yeah, it's off an original hat.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's awesome. I love it, man. This is this room just, it makes me feel like just a hangout spot, man. That's good.
Yeah. that walking stick, my grandpa actually carved that himself. See how it's got that little face at the top?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, a gumball machine that I stole from my dad when he was having a garage sale one time. I just put it in my trunk. Sorry, Dad.
This is I think why I wish I had my own place right now to live in. You know,
Just you buy stupid stuff.
yeah, I don't know, something to like help represent a little bit of your personality. You have people over.
And I love posters. Like, I don't know why. When I was real young, I always wanted a wall of just like random posters everywhere, like a whole room full of posters. And then when I got older, when I started collecting lighters, I was like, I'm going to do one of those walls in lighters. Like, they're all going to be BICs, all different on the wall. And so that's what I got started here. But yeah, I always like buying posters of like things that I really like. That was like one of my first posters I bought. I bought that in like 2017 and just hung it up. It was still in the box when I came here.
Yeah.
So I have like a couple of them that like I literally kept in the box because I was like, when I get a house, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So what's this idea? Can you flesh out a lot more of this video idea that you talked about briefly before we recorded? I'm into it. I want to know more of it, and maybe it'll hold me to commitment to let's make this thing work out of what you were talking about.
Oh, we were just, whiskey talk.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Mason were talking, and we watched a couple of your videos. We were talking about it, and I said, you know what I would like to do? I would like to do one story with Bill Mullins, and it's just you get one story. It's just me and you. Mason's there. He don't talk much. He's like, and just tell me one of your funny stories. One of the stories that your buddies like. Whenever you're hanging out with all your friends and they're like, dude, you have to tell the story about this. You know what I mean? Like when people are like, yo, tell me a story. They're like, you have to tell a story about this.
Yeah.
That one kid would have to tell the story about him pooping his pants. Because that was seriously the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, dude. Dude, you're so good at telling stories. I think we should make it work somehow. Maybe I'll come over, maybe once a month or something. I'll stop over. Just set up one camera. Be like, hey, let's just break out one story, and then we'll just make a video out of it.
What story would you tell? I'm curious.
My story about you?
No, not about me. Just like in general, like the one story that like anytime you're hanging out with all your friends, they're
man.
like, you remember that time? You got to tell that story. Everybody's got one.
I don't know. I like if I'm going off the top of my head, so you put me on the spot. There's the one point that comes to the top of my head is probably not so good one.
That's what I mean. There's like 8 stories that run through your head when I say that, and you're like, I can't say 7 of those because half of them are illegal.
Yeah, so there's one where it's me and Adam Black. So this is just off the spot. This is off my head. We didn't rehearse this at all, right? Yep. For some reason, this is what came in my head.
Splatum, by the way. Yeah. I love that guy. I love that whole family, by the way.
They're great.
I love those guys.
I've been hitting him up, trying to get him to do an episode, so we got to make it work.
Oh, yeah. You should almost have Bill on there, man. His dad is a legend.
That would be good.
I love Bill.
That didn't even cross my mind, but that totally will be on the list now.
Yep. Funny enough, I graduated with their daughter, and Bill told me this story, and he said, you know, when my daughter was real young, she always thought you were the cutest boy in school, and every day first day of school, she'd come home, and I'd be like, are you sitting next to Bill Mullins? And she's like, we're gotta sit next to Bill Mullins. And that cracked me up. Sorry for telling that story, Josh.
No, dude, Bill's such a good guy, too. But this story with Adam, kind of, we're making bad decisions, drinking alcohol, and we are in Toledo, and we go in. Austin invites us to this house party. Austin and Tanner, some of their friends from engineering, and me and Adam are there with them, and we don't know anybody. So we're already kind of boozed up when we get to this party, and we're just kind of like not having a care in the world, and just like, yeah, whatever. We'll just like kind of be idiots and just like be really, I don't know, just do something stupid. So we just like, as soon as we get there, we just like load up all of our cooler with like their beer before we walk into the house, and we'll walk up like, oh yeah, we got a full cooler of beer. It's theirs that we just took. We're like handing out to everybody, and then we go there and we're just chilling out. We're like,
so you were giving them their own beer?
Yeah.
They were like, these guys are super nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the mentality we went in with, and then we go downstairs, and then it's just me, Adam, and Josh and I. We start hanging out, and we're just like, and we open up the fridge, and their fridge is full of Jello shots, and we're like, oh, free Jello shots, awesome. And we take the whole tray downstairs, and we're not talking to anybody. We're just sitting out on the front porch, and we're doing Jello shots, and then Adam's just staring at the window, and I'm like, you good, man? What's going on? And he's like, you think I can break that window with my head? And
what a splatum thing to say.
and I was like, nah, you probably can't do it. And he just like walks over there, headbutts this window, shatters right in their front porch.
Tell me you ran.
We just ran.
Yeah.
Well, Adam ran, and I'm just like dumbfounded because he just darts for it, and he's gone. And then Austin runs down, people run down, they're like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know.
Why'd you stick around?
I had no idea.
Yo, when people start running, you run, dude.
So then
I don't mess around, man. I see feet moving, I'm like, oh, we're doing it.
Yeah, so I kind of like get with it, then I just start running too. And then like that owner comes down, and he's like, what the hell happened? Who? And then like the window's busted, and he's all pissed off, like, what's going on? Who broke it? And then the guy's like, do you know those guys, Austin? And looking at Austin Kuhn. And then Kuhn goes, yeah, his name's Stan and Neil. That's all I know. That's their names. And then that was it.
Tell me you call it Splatum Stan now.
I have
Are
never
you
called
Stan?
him. I don't know who was who. It was what Austin said in the spur of the moment to like have our backs, and then we got out. No one ever said anything to us. The next night we go to a party, and then these guys are there, and they're screaming at some other dudes. You broke our window, and we're just laughing, just like not saying a word.
Adam has an imprint of a window on his face.
So yeah, that's maybe not so good of a Bill story, but that's one again in my head of a fun story of a memory.
Going back, I was at a party one time. Not a party, we were at the bar. We were playing Jenga with the little things. And Jocelyn pulled out one, and it said, take a shot or do a naked lap. Or no, it said truth or dare. And she's like, I'll take dare. And I said, I'll give you an option. You do a shot or you take a naked lap. And she said, I'll take the shot, of course. And so I gave her the nastiest shot I could think of. And dude, I want to say it messed her up. Probably. It was pretty potent. And so we go back to playing. Sure as shit. Next one I pull out. Person to your left, truth or dare. And I can't say truth at this point.
Yeah.
So I say dare. She's like, same options. And I was like, well, everybody follow me outside. And I did a naked laugh around the bar.
Around the bar?
Around the bar. And Bill Black came and picked her up. And we were talking to her. And Bill was driving home. And he said, how did you get so messed up? And she said, Billy made me take a shot. He said, well, what did you do to Billy? And she said, well, I gave him the same option that I had. And he said, well, what did he choose? And she said, Dad, he came running around the bar. And he was like, I figured. Bill Black told my mom that story.
How'd your mom feel about it?
Oh, she doesn't care. She's like, yeah, that sounds like something my son would do.
I love how you just Billy, man, you own the stories because you go all in, you commit to it, and you're like, yeah, this is, who cares?
Oh no, and I think I get that because genuinely my mother 100% she'll listen to any story I tell, and she's literally thinks it's funnier than anybody, I think. Though my sister, I can get my sister rolling. But I mean, like, I'm an open book. I can tell you about anything.
Yeah. Why do you find yourself being so comfortable and chill, like laid back, where it's like, man, whatever, it is what it is. This is my life, you know. Why beat around the bush? I
just think that like a lot of people, and like when we first came to New Regal, because we were in Bascom for a little while, and but like I was the same way over there. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
What do I care? And when we moved over here, it was kind of like, try and act a little proper because, word travels fast in a small town. And I just thought, if I just put everything out there, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Because then, like, when people talk about it, they're comfortable with saying, Bill, what happened the other week? And I will tell them 100% what happened.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I think more people should be like that, where it's like, why be ashamed of shit that you did? That's your life, and just own it, man. That's where you're at now. So
yeah, just 100%. Just be honest with people. I think that's like the biggest quarrel in life is just people that lie. I don't know why. I don't see the point in lying.
Yeah. So with having that trait, dude, you're buying cars, you got the mystery machine. Are you over 1,000 BIC lighters in total yet?
No, 860, I think, somewhere around that range.
Okay. 860 BIC lighters, got at this house in Newrigal. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from now?
5 to 10 years from now. That's funny because I never think about it.
Yeah.
And I know you probably should. Like,
No,
I know everybody's like, you should have goals. You should see yourself doing this and doing that. But honestly, I go day to day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like I got like plans and stuff, but it's like I like to live every day where you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing at the end of the day. I like to, Friday, not have any plans, and then all of a sudden, I'm on a boat going somewhere, and it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as I get home for work.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, just play it by ear, and there's nothing wrong with that. And
Crossing bridges, man. Cross a bridge when you get to it. That's one of my life mottos for sure. Like, every day you just go out, do your thing.
do you find that any situations?
I don't even use pens because I have commitment issues.
It's all pencils.
It's all pencils.
You erase
I
it,
gotta
it's
be
gone.
able to erase that.
Yeah. I like it. So if you come up to a crossing bridge, do you ever find like that decision difficult to make, where it's like, I'm gonna go this direction or this direction, or is just like, yeah, let's go that way and see what happens?
I'm more like, let's just try this, and then you try it, and you're like, this is where we're at now. Let's try this.
Yeah.
Let's go back here. Let's do this.
Yeah. With being at the same job for 16 years, it's funny that
13.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
13 years, do you equate that, like you I don't know how to say this. I don't want to like put you in like a description or something, but you very much seem like you respect that job and like the opportunities that it gave you, and you're willing to stay working there. But also in the same life, you're like, all right, let's do everything. Maybe I might up and quit and do something else tomorrow. Do you think you'll stay working at that job, or?
Yeah, I genuinely do. I think that, I mean, as long as they let me, but yeah, I think like I have no, like, even when I was in high school, I had a perfect attendance record. Like, and everyone's like, that's weird. I can't see you having a perfect attendance record. And I don't know. I think that my parents installed that in me, where it's like, you go to work every day. Like,
Yeah.
if you have a commitment, you go to that commitment.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of think that after that commitment, I no longer have a commitment to deal with. I'm just,
That's fair.
yeah.
So you do like your commitments, and then after that, you're free.
Yeah, and you're 100% just doing your own thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I will say sometimes crossing bridges will put you in some sketchy situations where you're like, uh-oh, we shouldn't have done this.
Is there any specific instances?
I got one. I always got one. So one time I was with, we were at a bachelor party. I think we were in, I can't remember. I can't remember. But we're out on this bachelor party, and like I said, me and Marcus, we like to venture. So like we're with this whole bachelor party, and I'm like, yo, let's leave, go to another bar, cross some bridges. He's like, all right. So we cross some bridges. We go to this Mexican restaurant, and it's awesome, man. We're drinking margaritas. We're having a blast. So we go back to the bar to like meet up with our friends. We're like, yeah, there's a crazy dope margarita place right up the street. and nobody wants to go except for the bride's brother.
Okay.
His name's Joey.
Okay.
And Joe's like, I'll go with you guys. Like, I don't know anybody here. Like, whatever. I'll hang out with you guys. You guys seem cool.
And he doesn't really know you either?
No.
Okay.
Generally, I've like seen him once probably prior to this. And so we go, and we go back to this margarita place, and we're in, man, we're partying. We go to leave, and I'm like, I didn't bring my phone. I like to party without a phone. I like no commitments.
Yeah.
I don't like people even getting a hold of me. So I don't even bring my phone. And Marcus's phone died. So we're like, Joey, like, tell me you got a phone, please. And he's like, no. Yeah, I do. I broke it like 3 days ago. And we were like, oh my God. So we're like, all right, well, I was like, oh, we'll just start. Like, it's bar closing time. There's plenty of people on the street. Like, we'll just ask somebody where to go. So we asked some lady, we're like, hey, can you tell us how to get to Olentangy Drive? And she's like, oh my God. She's like, are you walking? And we were like, yeah. And she's like, you got some distance, brother. And we're like, all right, whatever, just point us in the direction. So we're walking. And it was like if it was a horror movie, like Scary Movie would start playing. Like, it was generally we were around people and then nobody, not a soul. It was like we crossed over a bridge and we were like, uh-oh. Like, there ain't nobody around. Yeah. And we were just roaming the streets at 3 a.m.
Is this Olentangy? So this is Columbus?
Yeah, it was Columbus then. It was Olentangy and Columbus. And we seen a guy die earlier in the day.
What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Just drop that one.
Yeah. Little side note. We literally showed up there. There was a dead body on the side of the road. He got motorcycle accident. He didn't get shot. But, yeah. So we're already like, all right, this ain't good.
Kind of on edge already from
100%. So we're chilling, and we're like walking. I'm like, dude, we're lost. We are 100% lost. I was like, we gotta ask somebody. We gotta do something. There's nobody around. Nobody. I was like, I'm gonna start hitchhiking. And Mark's like, dude, nobody's gonna pick up your sketchy looking ass. I was like, I'm gonna try, brother. And the first car goes by, and I put my thumb out, and I shit you not, the first car pulled over. And I was like, no way. He's going to pick up my sketchy looking ass. Mark is like ripped.
Yeah.
So he's picking up like a giant guy, and then Joey's just kind of like short dude. And like he cracks his window up. I got my forehead on his car because I'm drunk. And he's like, what's going on? And I was like, can you just tell me how to get to Olentangy Drive? And he pulls it up, and he's like, oh my God. He's like, you guys got like a 15-minute walk. And we're like, yeah. He's like, and he was Arabic, and he's like, you good people. And I'm like, oh, dude, we're the best people. And I'm like pleading my case about how good of a guy I am. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't litter. And Joey goes to church, and he's like, I'll give you a ride. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. So we get in this car. I'm in the passenger. Joey and Marcus are in the back seat. And, he's driving us, and I'm like, dude, I'm so appreciative that you did this for us. And he's like, oh, yes, no problem. And he has a flower vase in the cup holder. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what's the deal with the flower vase, man? What was his name? James, I think, or something like that. He's like, oh, the flower vase? He's like, I pee in it. And I said, you do what? He said, I piss in it. And I said, what do you mean you pee? And I looked in it. Yeah, it was 100% pee. And I was like, oh, I mean, he's giving me a ride. I'm not going to complain about some pee in the center council, you know? Yeah. And so he keeps cruising. And we're getting closer, and the phone starts ringing. And he's got hooked up to the audio. And I'm like, ignoring it. So is he. Marcus is in the back. He says, you going to answer that? He says, yeah. I'll answer it. He clicks answer, and she says, "It's a woman." She said, "Is this James?" And he said, "Yes, this is James." And she said, "James, this is Amy from the police department. Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh my God, this is a sting operation on hitchhikers. I didn't even know." And He's like, I'm on my way. I'm on Olentangy Drive, which we were not. We were like 10 minutes away from Olentangy Drive. And she's like, if you're not here in 10 minutes, we're going to take your daughter to Child Protective Services. And I'm like, oh, my God. And he's like, yeah, I'm on my way. Don't worry. And then he hangs up with her. And I'm like, James, man, if you got somewhere to go, like, you can drop me off. We'll walk the rest of the way. Ain't no thing. And he's like, that? Just a problem with the missus. And I was like, that does not, no. I was like, seriously, you drop us off. He's like, no, I'll get you there. And he dropped us off. And I asked him, I said, you want money? Like, I'll give you some money for taking us. I was like, and I hope everything pans out. And he said, good karma, all I need, brother. and I was like, I guess. I wish James the best, dude.
Yes. Hope he did well. And
I hope he got his daughter.
Yeah. I mean, he kept you guys straight, man. Sounds like he was good.
I guess. That's when crossing bridges is like, what happened? And then we get back, and the whole bachelor party's there. And the one kid that was getting married, he said, you wouldn't believe our Uber driver. and I said, at least he was licensed. Like, this dude had pee in his center console, man.
Yeah. Oh, my, fuck, dude. Yeah, and hey, like you said, I mean, it sounds like you took the positive out of that situation, right?
Oh, yeah, good karma's all I need, brother.
Do you hold that true still? Do you think good karma is real?
I would think so, because a lot of people are like, man, Bill, like, you got some pretty good luck. And I don't think it's luck at all. I think it's you view things positively, positive things are there. Like, here's a little experiment for you.
Okay.
And you guys at home. If, say you're making like a pizza or some pizza rolls or something. If you bitch the whole time you make pizza rolls, the pizza rolls will suck. I'll tell you that right now. Like, if you bitch about every little thing that happens to you, worse things happen later. So, like, you try and pull, like, a napkin off or something. Yeah. And it doesn't come off. You're like, motherfucker. Like, come here, motherfucker. Like, piece of shit. Like, motherfucker. And you just keep bitching. Bitch the whole time. And they won't turn out good. But if you sit there, you're calm. You just think positive things. A lot of times your food comes out better. Your pizza rolls.
That's interesting, man. Dude, that's good. I like that. It's a philosophy.
I guess.
Is this a coined philosophy that we want to?
I guess you can. I can patent it right now.
I would put a patent on it. This is the Billy Mullins. I'm trying to think of a Billy Mullins-ism.
I guess.
I like it.
A Billism.
A Billism. That's good. I like it. No, man, that's it's hard sometimes to stay positive, but like for me personally, sometimes you're in a situation you just don't want to be in, and like, you be outwardly negative about it. Like, I don't want to be here, but yeah, that's the best way of doing it. Like, well, I'm here. You might as well be positive about it and try to get something out of it.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, just stay positive. I want to say that I can remember 4 times I was seriously angry in like 5 years, where I was like genuinely angry.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's good, man. That's awesome. I don't think most people are like that.
Right. Yeah, I can't name very many people. A lot of people, like, you're angry about something, and then other things make you angrier.
Yeah. Where
a lot of times, like, the little things, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
So do you do that experiment often to try to think about, like, or do you just like, or does it come pretty naturally to you to try to stay positive?
It just comes naturally to just be a positive.
Yeah.
But one time when I was real young, when I was like 17, I was like, I'm just gonna be angry for like 20 minutes. Like, just be angry for 20 minutes. See if you can do it. And I just sat there and I was just pissed off at everything I did. Like, I'd forget something in the other room. Like, motherfucker, gotta go to the other goddamn room just to get this stupid fucking tool. And then when you're working on it and you're like, nothing's working now. But if you're sitting there and you're like, I gotta get this tool. You'll get the tool, come back. You slowly work on it. A lot of times things will go smoother.
That's awesome, man. I love that. That's good.
Or like you bust your knuckles or something. You're like, yeah, that sucked. Okay.
I hope I'll strive to be less angry and negative. And I'm always try to be more happy because like why do you want to have that energy where you can just be like, yeah, that sucked, it just happened, but get over it.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you have like a significant other, I feel like sometimes maybe their emotions kind of play on your emotions. So it's kind of tougher when you're in like a relationship or even with like friends and stuff. It's like it's kind of when you hang out with somebody every day, it's kind of you feed off of other people's emotions. Yeah. So I like to think that when I see people, I want them to be happy to see me. So it's like,
yeah.
So it's like easier to be happy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you definitely are like the people that you surround yourself with. I believe in that 100%. So if you surround yourself with happier people and you are happy and positive, you know, everybody around you is going to be in a better mood as well. So it's just kind of like that cycle of not being negative.
Right. 100%.
All right, so I have this, Bill. What's a foo-foo Sunday?
A foo-foo drink Sunday is usually you party all weekend, and usually you drink things you like when you're out and about, and then usually the next morning you're a little messed up, and foo-foo drink Sunday is you drink foo-foo drinks, so it doesn't really upset your stomach.
Okay.
So it's foo-foo drink Sunday, so I always like to drink a couple foo-foo drinks here and there.
So this is something that won't upset your stomach.
Well, not if you just drink one. Don't drink a 6-pack. It'll definitely destroy you. But yeah, foo-foo drink Sunday. I like a natter day on Sunday. Or like, what are those new natter days?
Yeah.
Yeah, natter days.
Yep. What's the flavor of those, though?
It's like lemonade mixed with beer.
Yeah, it's kind of like more of a, what the hell am I trying to think of? I can't even think of the word.
Almost like a seltzer.
Yeah, seltzer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, drink your foo-foo drinks on Sunday. It'll help you.
All right, Bill. Cheers to that.
It's a little bit of hair of the dog.
Yeah. Did you have a good weekend this weekend?
Yeah, I partied pretty hard, I guess.
Did you see my brother last night, my parents? I went up to Sunny Jack's, they said.
Oh, no. I went, my buddy had a diaper party yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't go to Sunny Jack's yesterday. I seen your brother, Friday?
Last week. He said he crashed here.
Yeah, he definitely did. He was supposed to walk back to Mason's, and I walked downstairs. He was laying in my bed. I was like, all right, I guess Caleb's staying.
Well, he said he woke up on the floor first, so.
Oh, really?
So he almost made it to your bed the first time.
That's funny.
I'm sure he's going to appreciate that shout out if he watches this one.
Yeah. I bet he does.
All right, Bill. So I got this thing. Like I said, I was trying to do some research for you. I ended up just screenshotting my favorite photos.
Okay.
Online.
That's funny.
Is that cool? I'll pull them up and if you want to just give me a quick synopsis of what's going on or a bigger story of these photos, that'd be awesome. Is that cool?
Yeah. I always love the photos of me because I'm always doing something stupid.
So I'm just going to scroll through them, and then I'll pop them up when I'm in post. So what's going on here, Bill?
That's when I lived in Bowling Green. That used to be my Twitter picture, and I still have that Tiger shirt. I was wearing it earlier when you showed up.
When you weren't walking down, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. That's the photo I screenshotted.
Yeah, and at the time, I didn't even smoke cigarettes. That's not even my cigarette. I just thought it popped with the photo.
Yeah. And didn't stem the habit of smoking cigarettes, did it?
No. But the hat, too, it used to just be a red hat. And I was at a party once, and I thought, remember that DiGiorno pizza commercial?
Yeah.
Where he like scratches on pizza on the hat and like sells them so you can get in the party. I told a girl that I wanted that, and she wrote that in there. And I was like, that is so impressive.
Nice.
Like, she did immaculate on it.
I love it. All right, I'll go back into something on that after I go through the rest of the photos because there's something that I want to talk about too. What do we got here, Bill?
Oh, man, this was when I used to, so I work with a lot of mannequins, and I always loved taking photos with the mannequins doing stupid shit. And, yeah, that's me getting choked out by Karen.
This was when this occurred, you were doing this for at least maybe a couple years on Facebook.
Yeah.
That was the most favorite thing I would look forward to every time I logged into Facebook. I was like, I hope Bill posts a new photo.
You know what's funny is one of the first times I ever did that at work, there was a skeleton, and I put that hat on it. And I had put that hat onto the skeleton, and I put, man, this Herbalife diet's got me looking good. And I remember my buddy Matt Brickner posted, and he said he was like dying laughing. And then like an hour later, his buddy Austin Harrison commented, was like still dying laughing, and it was Austin. He logged on to somebody else's Facebook because he's like, I had to like, or it was Matt because he logged on to Austin's Facebook because he's like, I had to like it on everybody's thing. Like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And then after that, I was like, man, people really think that's funny. Like, I didn't even think it would be. I didn't even think that would be that funny to people. But then like every time I'd go to the bar, people would be like, the mannequin photos you post are so funny. I was like, man, I really got to start doing more stuff. I was like running out of ideas.
No joke, man. That gag, that was the only thing I really wanted to log into Facebook for. I'd open up the app like, please tell me Bill posted another mannequin photo, because those give me life, man. They're fucking hilarious.
And the one that cracks me up that really didn't even get that many likes is there's like a mannequin hand on a table, like writing on a piece of paper. And I was like, I ran into the dude from the Addams Family. and I thought that was like going to kill. Good. And it didn't. But one that I thought wasn't funny that absolutely destroyed was the vending machine, and it said place bill here, and I was like, how am I supposed to fit in that? And people were like, that is so funny. And I'm like, what? Like, I did not think people would think that was funny at all.
That's good, man. So there's a couple of them. Just in sequence, I had a couple of them because I enjoyed so many of them.
Oh, yeah.
So there's another one. I don't know if you want to give any story to this one.
My boss actually took this photo because like, I started posting them, and then someone told my boss, was like, oh, my God, Billy's photos are funny on Facebook. She didn't even know I was doing it. And then she's like, what are you posting? Like, make sure we're not doing anything bad. I'm like, oh, no, like, they're just stupid.
Yeah, lighthearted for sure.
And then I, like, showed her them all, and she was like, that is funny. And she's like, if you ever need, like, what else are you thinking? Like, and I was like, oh, let's do this one. And, yeah, she took that photo for me.
Nice. Okay, I got one more for those.
Yeah. What is the caption of this one? Like, this is us looking at fireworks.
Oh, I don't remember it. I'm sorry. I don't remember the caption of this one.
Me and Hank watching fireworks.
All right. So there's all those. What's this one?
That's Chance's diaper party. He has he's got a like a changing table. That's a toolbox. And
that's actually a changing table?
Yeah, that's actually a changing table. Pretty funny. Yeah.
Nice.
Changing station.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and they had a little mannequin doll in there, and I was like, Chance, send this to your wife and tell her that I can do babysitting whenever.
Did she follow up with that one at all?
No, she hadn't messaged me yet.
All right, what do we got here?
That's actually my boss, right over here, and that's her sister, and that's her uncle, I think. Yeah, nice. So I'm not even related to them.
I saw it. I was like, that seems like a very nice post. I don't know. I felt it was very heartfelt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we worked there for the day, and then she's like, my uncle is here, and would you mind if we visited him for a while? And I was like, no, not at all. And we visited for him a while. Real cool dude. I just like talking to people, so I was fine with it. Nice. Whatever. We ate dinner with him.
Nice. All right.
She's a hoot.
What do we got here?
That's my buddy Lucas. As his marriage photo. Everybody took a serious photo before this, and I was like, yeah, no, that ain't my style.
Yeah.
And by the way, they made me not wear a hat for this.
Why?
Yeah, you're telling me. I had to get a haircut too.
I remember. I was videotaping.
Yeah.
I remember during the ceremony of them getting married, I was sitting like behind you or beside you recording, and you like came back and said something. And then I was like, I'm 100% making sure that this gets put into the final cut for their wedding video.
That's funny. But yeah, Holly was like, you got to get a haircut. Like, you need a haircut. Get a haircut. And I did. I got a haircut. And they said they didn't want me to wear a hat. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And then funny enough, Andrew Mack got married like a couple years later. And he's like, I was like, hey, is it okay if I wear my hat to your wedding? He's like, I'm going to be pissed off if you don't wear the hat. And I was like, okay. But yeah, but I always, whenever I go to weddings, I usually don't wear a hat, and then about halfway through the reception, I'll pull it out of my pocket and put it on. People are like, "Okay, thank God, Bill looks normal."
Did you graduate with Lucas?
Yeah, I did. I graduated with Lucas. Lucas was he's still a great friend of mine. But me, Lucas, and Jake Reinhardt, man, we were real close in high school. We always hung out together.
Yeah,
and it cracks me up because Lucas was always the scaredy cat of the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
the big dude, you know, kind of big dog.
Yeah, he was the scaredy cat of the group. Me and Reinhardt would be doing something real stupid. He's like, I don't think we should be doing this.
That brings up another story I want to bring up after this. So I only got a couple more. All right, so what do you got here?
Oh my God, everybody loves this photo. I actually, when I bought GI Bill, this is the photo they used on his casing because he like sent in a photo.
Yeah.
That's at my buddy Matt's house. I used to live there, and that's my Corvette. And
Matt Brickner?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you lived there.
And I was like, and I didn't have a shirt on that day, and I just thought, man, get a picture of me looking all redneck next to my Corvette. And he's like, all right. And I was like, oh, let me run upstairs and get my banjo too. That'd make it even more redneck. So I grabbed it.
This banjo here, is it the same one?
Yeah, that's the same one. And so I grabbed my banjo, and we were going to take a photo. And the dog actually was just walking through. And Matt's like, hey, Memphis, get out. And I was like, oh, no, bring him in. Set him down. And he did. He sat and posed right like that. And, oh, man, that is one of my favorite photos. That cracks me up.
It's a good photo. That's a good one. Is that a Mustang or not a Mustang? Is that a Stingray?
Yeah, that's a Corvette Stingray. That's a 76, and it actually is it's a bicentennial car. That's the only year they made that color white.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it's America's anniversary.
Nice.
It's 76, and it's the last year they did the Stingray. Which, if you follow Corvettes at all, every Corvette is one of a kind. And that's why the resale value, nobody wants it. Because they're like, that's the stupidest thing. And because every Corvette guy you'll ever meet will be like, this is an 86, and it has this, and it has automatic, which they only made 600 automatics, and this has a tan interior, which actually they only made 38 of, and then it's like, you can just boil it down to, you can just boil it down to, every Corvette out there is one of a kind.
Yeah. Nice, man. This is you don't still have this one, do you?
What?
Is this the one that's out?
Yeah, that's the one outside.
And you're going to hold on to that one? You're going to keep that one long term?
That was the one that I got from my dad, and I was like, we're done trading.
Yeah.
Like, I'm content. And I always told myself I didn't want a white car. I was like, I hate white cars. And I told my dad, because the guy's like, I had a 92 Corvette at the time. And it was pristine. And the guy was like, I'll trade you my 76 for your 92. And I was like, no, it's white. I don't want it. And the guy was like, if I drive it over there and you look at it, you will take this car. And I was like, all right, whatever. I'll look at it. And he brought it over, and I said, okay, go ahead and take mine.
Nice. I love it, man. All right, I got one more. Do you know what it is?
I don't know.
It's you and the Mystery Machine.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So you've already told the story behind the Mystery Machine. Do you ever drive this around anymore? I see it parked out here, and you said that it's kind of a hassle a lot of times you drive it places. Do you ever take it out, or is it more of like this is like I don't know,
an expensive lawn ornament? I drive it. I usually cruise around the block here a couple times.
Yeah.
Usually, and it's just fun to like, especially you see little kids and they're like super juiced that happen to. The other day we were cruising around and I ran out of gas like right down the road, and there was two little girls on like a little Jeep, and they were like, oh my God, they were like screaming for their mom. They're like, the Mystery Machine is broke down, and I was like, that is so funny.
That's awesome.
I always get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Especially, I can't believe how like worldly Scooby-Doo is.
Oh yeah.
Like all ages love it.
Yeah. It's dude, it's one of those things. It's a staple.
Right. You get old men that are like, oh my God, like that is so funny, that brings up my childhood. And then you get like 6-year-olds that are like, oh my God, it's the Scooby-Doo mobile.
That's awesome.
Which a lot of people call it the Scooby-Doo mobile.
I feel like I've heard that before.
All the time I get it. You
Yeah.
got the Scooby-Doo mobile down there? The mystery machine? Yeah, that's what I meant. I was like, it was only painted on the side.
Yeah, it kind of has the name there ready for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I mean,
Right.
it just comes back to you putting smiles on people's faces. It's part of who you are. It's awesome.
And I also think that's why I like to drive muscle cars. If you've ever driven a muscle car, people wave at you, and that is like a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, there was one time in Findlay, I recently told you this, where you were driving the muscle car, and I was like, that's Bill. I need to go up and wave to him. And I'm speeding up to get beside you, and you fucking just kept going fast because you're like, I'm not letting this guy in this piece of shit car pass me.
I could just hear you beside me, and I was like, this dude is trying to race me, and I'm not about to have it.
Yeah, just, you would not turn. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to wave to you.
And then we got caught by a red light, and you were just beside me like, bop, 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 bop. And I was like, don't even look at him. And then finally I glanced over. I see you. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I know these people.
Yeah, it was not like a thing of I'm trying to race you. It's like, no, I'm just trying to let you know that I see you.
Yeah. Anytime I'm in a muscle car, I always feel like you shouldn't let people pass you.
I understand.
It's kind of like an insult.
Yeah, I get it.
And I think that stems from, I used to see this girl out yonder. My dad owned a bar like right down the road from her house. And so I used to go pick her up all the time. We'd go to the movies. And one time we were coming back from the movies, and she was in the passenger seat. I was in my Camaro, and this little Honda or something like switched lanes, like he was gonna pass me, and I punched it, and I was gonna kill him. Like I knew I had him beat. Like there's no way he's getting around me. There was a car coming, and she was like, "No, don't stop," and I let off, and the dude passed me. And I was like, oh, that's a little defeating, but whatever. We'll let that kid think he's cool. And his buddy stuck his thumb out the window, like thumbs up, and then turned it down. And I've never been more insulted in my life at that point. And I was like, never again. Never again. I don't care who's in the car.
Why does that person have to be like so like
Yeah, like cool car.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I took that personally.
That sucks, man. Hey, I hope you only have good experiences from this point out.
Yeah. Sometimes. Sometimes you get past.
So with showing the photos, there was are you losing? Is it because your car just can't go faster than some of the cars that want to race, or is it more like usually it's like, hey, I don't think I should go 100 miles an hour in this 45 right now?
I will say this. I respect the hell out of this guy. One time I was driving, and there's this truck, and I see him pass the car behind me. And I'm in my Camaro, so I was like, I'm going to speed up. I sped up, and he, like, came up behind me like he was going to pass me, and I was like, oh, I ain't letting that happen. And he switched lanes, man, and he was scooting, and I put it to the floor. Like, I was giving it everything, and he passed me no problem in a very large diesel truck. And when he got past me, he was hauling 2 motocross bikes in the bed of the truck. And I was like, mad respect to that guy. Like, he's got more balls than me. Go ahead. So I got to give respect to that dude.
I can confidently say that not one of my vehicles will ever pass your vehicle, actually, Billy, because I have an 88 Chevy S10 and a 2001 Honda
Your
Civic.
S10's pretty sly, though.
I don't know what you mean by sly, but if you mean power, it does not.
Sounds good.
Hey, I'll take it. I appreciate it.
That is funny. Yeah, you used to have that little black one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice little whip.
I still technically have it. It's in the shop.
And I love every car. I always feel weird when people are like, you got to go forward, like refuse to appreciate.
Yeah. No, I agree. My thing with vehicles is very much against like people who like I don't want to spend $80,000 on a vehicle just to like drive an $80,000 vehicle around. My thing's like, hey, I bought this thing 5 years ago for $500, and I'm gonna drive this thing until I
still
can't.
scoots.
Yeah, and I'm gonna drive that for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I always find it weird when people buy like cars and then they're like, I'm not gonna drive it, I'm gonna save them miles.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? Not fuck your girlfriend because you're saving it for the next guy? Like, what? That makes no sense. Enjoy it. It's yours.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You should.
Like my buddy Matt bought a truck, and he was saying, like, he takes it out in the woods and stuff. Like the first week he had it, and people were like, "Why are you doing that, man? You're gonna scrape up the paint." He's like, "It's a truck."
Yeah, that's why I bought it.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it to put on the showroom. Oh, that's awesome, man. All right. I want to get a couple things before we take a break because I got to pee. But when we were showing the photos, there's a couple of things that it made me like think of my memories with you, Bill. And I want to bring them up to you. So you mentioned like Lucas, and Jake Reinhardt being the trio. You get 100%. That's my memory of you guys were the three dudes from Hopewell that would come to the Nirvana parties back in high school. And like that's when my first introduction to like really getting to know who you were was.
Yeah.
Because I hung out with a little bit of the older guys, and then every party I'd go to, at some point, you three would show up to the party, and I have to thank you. Because I feel like there's some sort of, I don't know if it's from what you said, like things happening for a reason, but if you guys didn't show up to the party, Lucas is the reason I moved in with those guys in Toledo. So that was
awesome.
A big step of my life of having that connection of, hey, this kid's going to Toledo, and I see him. Lucas is like, I see him at like all the Nirvana parties I go to. He seems kind of chill and kind of cool. So I'll hit him up to see if he wants to live with us.
Is real calm. Well, sometimes.
Yeah. So like he texted me and like because of you guys hanging out at those parties is the only reason I lived with all those guys for 4 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for that experience.
And did I get you in with Kuhn and them?
Yeah, because I lived
Kuhn
with.
is such a great guy, man.
Yeah, dude, and that's how I got.
He's got that skeleton smile, doesn't he? Like he smiles, you see every bit of those teeth.
Yeah,
you see every you see his caps in the back.
It's because he's so happy, man.
Yeah, dude, he's got the biggest smile, the brightest smile of anybody I know.
Yeah, so I want to say like if it wasn't for like you guys coming to those parties, I would have never met Lucas, Kuhn, Tanner, Adam, all those guys. For 4 years.
Can I say how I remember you?
Let's go for it.
Okay. I remember we used to hang out with Jake Reinhardt's all the time, and we'd order Bubby's Pizza because it was the only place that would deliver. And we were always like, well, it's going to be one of the Jacobs that come. Jacob Welly or Jacob Shaw. And you guys would show up, and we're broke as hell. We'd give you like 3 Busch Lights. And you'd be like, hell yeah. Like, you just made my night.
I remember you saying that because back when I was in high school, you're like, Jake, I always know if I'm going to see you, I'm going to see you with the other Jacob. If we're coming out to a party, you and Jacob Shocker, you're always going to be hanging out partying.
The 2 Jacobs always there. Oh, and I wanted to tell this story. And when you asked me to do this, I was like, well, I got to bring up this story. Remember the time I came over and we were playing Edward 40 Hands?
At my house, yes, in the basement.
Yeah, we were playing Edward 40 Hands. And I was with Marcus, and like I like to pull like party pranks on people sometimes. And me and Marcus were outside, and I was like, man, what can we do? Like, we got to just move something or do something to make people question why that's there. I was like, dude, let's take the grill and we'll hide it behind a bush. And then his dad will come out to like cook, and he'll be like, what the hell? Like, where's the grill? And then he can't find the grill. He's real pissed off. Like, he thinks someone stole his grill. And then he'd be out mowing and find the grill behind a bush. And I was like, that would be so funny. So funny. And so we were hammered. And I want to say I still had a 40 taped to my one hand. And we're carrying this grill. And we were hammered. We could barely even walk with this thing. Mm-hmm. And Lucas caught us moving it, and he went back to the party and was like, they're throwing your grill in the pond. And like you came out and you're like, hey, like, don't stop. And we're like, oh, we're just moving it behind a bush. And you were like, I can't believe you guys were gonna throw it in the pond. Like, that's a little fucked up, you guys. And we're like, no, I swear to God, dude, we were just putting it behind the bush because we thought that was funny. And you were like, for real? And I was like, yeah. And I believe you, Bill. I was like, yeah, we just wanted to prank you.
I do kind of remember that.
Yeah, Lucas jumping to conclusions.
I remember Lucas always getting overly worked up about a lot of things. He's like, hey man, no, you
We shouldn't
like,
be here. We should be doing this. It's like, I know, that's what makes it fun, Lucas.
Yeah. Hey man, if you ever find yourself back over at my house, I 100% like you catch me off guard. If you want to do something like that again, I'm all for it. Don't let Lucas stop you.
Yeah. Oh no, he busted us good, man. He told the whole party, like, these guys are assholes. They're throwing the grill in the pond. I don't know why he put that in his head.
Yeah. I've calmed down since then. I feel like I don't like get worked up as much.
I think you were just like disappointed in us. I literally felt like I was talking to like my mother and I fucked up.
Yeah.
I was like, man, like we really weren't trying to do anything wrong. We were just pulling an innocent prank. We were just moving your grill, and you were like, all right, that's fine. That's kind of funny.
No sweat, dude. Hey, no problems here. Bringing up the photos, it reminded me of a couple of things I want to bring up. Like I said, with my memories of like meeting you and get to know you a little more, come to those parties. Another thing was you mentioned living in Bowling Green. That seemed like a were you going to Owens at the time?
Yeah, I was going to Owens at the time.
Did you live there before you moved in with Daniel and Andrew and those guys?
No, they were like, yo, we're moving to Bowling Green. We got a house. We want you to party with us. And I said, yeah, whatever, I'll do it.
So how was it? I kind of want to get in a little bit of that time of your life. What did you go to college for? What were you doing while in college? Kind of what was your outlook on life? You know, just that time of your life, what were you thinking? What was going on?
Oh, that was when I first went to college, to be honest with you. I wanted to go into education. It was obviously a different moment in my life. I mean, can you imagine me teaching your children? And, yeah, they were, I went into education for a little bit, mainly because I wanted to, I just wanted to coach sports. Like, I wanted to coach, like, baseball or something. And I thought, if I'm a teacher, that'll work hand in hand with that. Yeah. And I went for a couple years, or like a year or two, and my dad was like, yo, if you're in education, you might as well be in management. He's like, because it's just like dealing with children. And I was like, okay. So I switched to business management. I went to school with Jake Coleman when we were younger, and we took all the same classes, like everything together, like 100% sat next to each other. 100% I was cheating off of him. And yeah, and oddly enough, he wanted to own a golf course, and I wanted to own a bar. And so I just thought, if he owns a golf course, I'll just run the bar inside the golf course, and I'm going to call it the Cobop Cabana. I don't know why I thought that was funny. I probably wouldn't have, but I did. I thought that was funny for some reason. And, like, that was our plan. And then he ended up passing away. And then when he passed away, I was just like, I don't think I could do this. Like, I can't. I don't want to do it, really. And then, yeah, like, just quit. And then I was just like, hey, I'm going to do full-time in the job I'm at. I was like, and then I just worked my way up.
Mm-hmm. Is that, so during that time, that's when you were living with Daniel and Andrew and those guys?
Yep, that was.
Why, I'm trying to think, sorry. I had a few questions that come to my head through that conversation. Like, what was it that, like, made you want to, like, be a coach and stuff like that?
I just love sports.
Yeah.
I like sports a lot. And then, so I just wanted to do that. And I always thought I was pretty good at sports, so I just thought that'll work hand in hand. And then, yeah.
Are you okay with the way things played out? I mean, of not becoming a teacher and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself doing it.
Yeah.
I could see myself doing it for a couple of years and then just being like, I don't like where I'm at. And I'd probably go on and do something else.
Yeah. That's cool, man. It's, yeah, because, I don't know. It seemed such a lifetime ago.
Yeah, that was it definitely, it feels like yesterday, though.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Like, when I remember you, like, lived with those guys in BG, it was like, I'm thinking right now, it's, damn, dude, seems like so long ago of just completely different, you know, my outlook on life was completely different. I was in college or getting ready to start college and stuff like that. It's like, damn, dude.
What are you talking about, like, when Holman passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, to be honest with you, when that happened, I feel like a lot of people, like, not even people that really knew him, really put life into perspective of like, oh shit, like we're adults now. Like,
Yeah.
we got to start acting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy, dude. I mean, shit was...
Oh, it flipped everybody 180.
Yeah, and, like, that was the same thing where, you know, my recollection was, like, really only seeing you guys at parties and stuff, coming over to Nurgle and, like, oh, shit, this fucking crazy shit happened.
And I'm totally open about talking about him 100%. Like, a lot of people are like, I just didn't know where you were at with that. Like, what's going on? And for me, you talk about things that you love.
Yeah.
And he was definitely a person that I genuinely loved.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Hey, and it's all good memories, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I love that kid to death. Like, we hung out every single day.
Yeah. That's awesome. And, yeah, I mean, I knew it just from, like, seeing you guys come to parties.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And, like, that was my thing. He would come out and hang out, and it was like, and then shit fucking goes down, and it's like, damn, dude.
Right. Yeah, that definitely put life into perspective for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Because it was like, it showed you how fragile life truly, really is. Because, like, before that, you just acted reckless. Like, you didn't care. You didn't have things pending on you, I felt like.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, you were just living.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, it was like, yo, we have to start working. We have to start doing things. We just start being adults.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and there was a time where I just had... Okay, so I'm curious on your... My perspective of life has changed significantly over the course of growing up. Like, when I was in high school, I wasn't going to go to college and stuff originally and just, like, go out and work. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to stay out here and just live in New World the rest of my life and go work construction and kind of do that path. That's changed significantly with, all right, hey, I'm going to go to college, and then, hey, you know, my worldview kind of growing. Has your perspective on life changed over the course of the years, or?
Oh, 100%. Like, when I was younger, I was definitely pretty reckless, essentially, I would say. I mean, I still am fairly reckless, but, yeah, like, that happening, that was huge. Like, bar none. Like, I remember the day it happened, like, the next day, I woke up a different person.
Yeah.
100%. I remember waking up.
Yeah.
Like, in no significance either. Like, I just remember waking up.
Yeah, just
And
kind of what was going on.
Yeah, and being like, oh, well, this is how it's going to be now.
Mm.
Which is crazy. That's something you shouldn't put on anybody. Like,
Yeah.
losing somebody close to you like that, it'll definitely change your life perspective.
Yeah. Do
I look at death way different now.
How do you look at it?
Like, almost like someone's over there. So it's like, when it comes, it's more of a peaceful feeling. Like, Troy Smeets passed away shortly after that. And I remember thinking, like, I handled it better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you handle death better. And like, the field I work in, you see people die all the time. Like, older people in, like, nursing homes and stuff, they pass away. And it's just like, you almost, like, know that something's better.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than looking at it as an unknown.
So do you believe in, like, an afterlife and stuff like that?
I would say probably.
Yeah.
I couldn't say for certain because, fuck, what do I know?
Yeah.
And do you think that, like, when you die in your dream, you wake up because your brain doesn't know what's going to happen next? So it can't comprehend it?
That's a good question. I'm going to say yes. That's good. That's because I'm pretty sure, like, a dream state it's a collection of memories versus like perspective, right?
Yeah.
Your brain can only recall things that it's done. So I think there's just, like, this thing saying, like, if you have a dream, the faces that you see are only faces that you've ever saw in real life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, probably. That's fucking crazy, dude.
I heard that, but what if you see the woman of your dreams and you never met her before?
You might not have met her, but you saw her in passing.
That's deep.
So,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm a huge, like, on dreams, man. Dreams are sketchy to me.
Do you think they mean something?
Oh yeah, for certain.
Yeah. Do you have wild dreams?
I have the most insane dreams. Like
Okay.
I have like specific dreams that I remember to a T.
As do I. I have pretty insane dreams. What's some dreams that have stuck out to you?
So let me put some backstory here. My mom, where they live, my room, the way it was set up, I swear to you, when you slept in there and you were 100% sober, you couldn't be drunk. But if you were sober and you slept in there, you had the most vivid dreams of all time. And it scared me to a point where I wouldn't sleep in there. And the one dream I had was I was at a party and I kept telling everybody I wanted to leave. And then they were like, no, you can't leave. But I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving. And then I left and I was driving like a Bronco. And this other Bronco was like coming towards me. And it hit me. And when it was hitting me, like I remember squeezing the steering wheel as hard as I could. And when it hit me, everything turned white. And then I looked at and then it came back and I looked at my review and the car was swerving off. And the intensity of that dream, like when I woke up, I could tell my body had been flexing for like an hour.
Yeah.
Like I was like physically drained.
What did you take away from that dream then? What do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea what that fucking meant.
Yeah. But you think they mean something?
Yeah, it was definitely like something in that dream. Like to you, it probably might sound like just a normal dream, but the intensity of it like stuck with me or something.
Yeah. I have pretty intense dreams pretty frequently where I'll wake up and I'll be like sweating profusely or like you said, recall dreams to a T of just like crazy shit happening. And
you know what helps with that? If you take a glass of water, you drink half of it, go to bed, in the morning finish your glass of water. And it'll help your brain relay time.
Oh, yeah.
So it helps you remember your dreams.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's times where like I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I should write this down so I remember it. Because I don't know if I think that there's a significance in dreams necessarily, but I enjoy remembering them. Of like that, why would that was so crazy? Why do we
remember that?
Yeah.
Also, if you're having trouble falling asleep, put a glass of water underneath your bed.
Really? This is getting a little superstitious for me, but let's hear why.
I don't know.
It works though?
I'm not shitting you, man. If you're having trouble sleeping, just try and fall asleep for a little bit, and then if you just can't do it, go get a glass of water, maybe drink some, and then put the glass of water underneath your bed.
I'll believe you, but I have no problem falling asleep.
Oh, me neither, man. I hit the pillow and I'm out.
Yeah, same.
What I used like Daniel moved into that BG house after I did, and I'll never forget this. One time we were hammered and we were in this dorm room, and I said, "Shit, Daniel's about to fall asleep in less than a minute," and Daniel said, "More like 5 seconds," and I shit you not. At the end of that sentence, he was asleep, 100% asleep. And I was like, "That is the most insane thing I've ever seen." That is going to sleep.
Yeah. Hey, when you're ready to go sleep, you go sleep, right? What are the other things that you take out of your life that kind of like really makes you reflect? Dreams, experiences. What else kind of makes you sit down and be like, damn, that's fucking crazy? Is there anything else that goes on like that?
I don't know. Dreams are intense. I like ghosts or murder mysteries. I get down on some murder mystery.
So you all into ghosts?
What?
You think ghosts exist in this?
Well, I don't think they're ghosts. I think they're energy.
Okay. Can you explain? I'm curious. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like every human being has energy in them, and I feel like when they pass, I feel like their energy is probably still there. Not necessarily a ghost per se, but I feel like there's energy in certain spots in certain people, and like reflecting on those.
Yeah. Is it stuck to like a location thing?
I feel like some of it is a location thing.
Yeah.
I like to think if I died, Sonny Jack's is going to have some weird shit going down.
I would go to Sonny Jack's just to experience that. Be like, dude, like Bill's here right now.
The balls sometimes randomly come out on the pool table and shit.
Yeah. Everybody'd be like, fucking Bill's back.
Yep. And that's what I always wanted to. What I always thought when I die, like, I genuinely want to get rid of all my things. I don't want any one person to have all of my things. I'd rather them go to somebody, and then that person is like, that means something to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would want my money to go to a Sonny Jack's pool table with like my like in memory of Bill Mullins.
Nice.
And then like 50 years from now, people are like, "Who in the fuck is Bill Mullins?"
Somebody will have a story then.
Yeah, they'll be like, "He used to wear a Texas hat all the fucking time."
Hey, maybe this podcast can be a part of that recollection in 100 years.
Oh yeah. And they'll be like, we'll do a little backstory on Bill Mullins. We'll pull it up.
Exactly. So, man, there's a few things that I wanted to get into. We could start rolling things up and packaging it up, calling it an episode if that works for you.
Yeah, sure.
So some of the standard questions that I ask people kind of at the end of the episodes, like we talked about earlier, how do you define success in your life?
By your happiness.
Okay.
What are you satisfied with?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what are you satisfied with? Success is in your own head. It's not written down on paper. Like, there's probably millionaires that die every day that we don't even know about. We don't have no clue who that guy is. But then you got people over here who are like dead ass poor, and when they die, they actually did do something significant, and they are remembered.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah, I agree 100%. That's the way it should be.
So I mean, what is success? I would say success is the amount of happiness you had.
Mm-hmm. I would almost extend it a little further from this conversation. I think your success is also happiness that you put on other people.
Oh, 100%. I feel like that also contributes to your own memory.
Yeah.
Because you died twice, when you actually pass, and then when the last person says your name.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's crazy. Fuck, dude. Yeah, that's pretty deep.
The last story that somebody remembers of you.
Yeah. That's I'm trying to think of it. That's 100% true, dude. That's wild. Because your memory can live on for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's people that will never die.
Yeah. Where, they'll be telling stories, and, like, maybe in generations from now, they won't even know your name. But they'll be like, dude, this is his character. He did.
Yeah. there used to be this dude in Nirvana.
Yeah, this dude in Nirvana.
He lived there. And he used to have a mystery machine parked in the yard.
Exactly. And that could go on forever. And maybe generations not even know it's Bill Mullins.
Right. Or like when years from now when someone buys this house, they'll be like, yo, what is that sticker doing it behind the wall there? And they'll be like, oh, that must be that Bill Mullins guy that used to live here. It's funny, too, because there was a guy that lived in this house from the day he was born to the day he died. Lived in this house. And outside there is a pole, and it says Shorty 1958.
No shit. That was the guy who lived here?
Yeah, so I mean, he's still living strong. Shorty, getting brought up.
Yeah. That's so crazy, dude, because that's 100% true.
My buddy Chance, when he bought his house, there was a pencil. It's in pencil, and it says like a dude's name, and it says like 1898.
Yeah.
In pencil.
That's so awesome, because I just thought of a couple things with my house I bought in Findlay when I was remodeling it. I would, start tearing stuff apart and find all sorts of shit like that back in the walls, And my thing is like, all right, package it up and like put it back in there behind the walls the way it was. And it was, somebody in 1948, hey, remodeled house and put up wallpaper in 1948, shit like that, and like their message and their names and stuff. And I was like, all right, like put the insulation back in and close it up.
We used to live in this haunted house in Tiffin. I was like an itty bitty baby. I don't even remember this, but my sister always tells this story. And she was saying when they rip off the wallpaper, there was like notes written in like child's handwriting, and it said like my brother Kevin died in like 1940.
Yeah. Is there stories from that?
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. My dad would always say that when he would walk up the stairs, he would always glimpse up, and there would always be a boy standing at the top of the stairs. He's like, when you do a double take, never there. But I swear to God, I seen him like 8 times.
That's
And
crazy.
my dad doesn't believe in ghosts at all.
Yeah, and he was just more like, okay,
Yeah.
this is something's kind of
Fishy.
yeah. Dude, if you have a story of ghost experiences, sometimes and if you believe the person telling the story, like that one is always like, oh, that's kind of fucking wild.
Yeah, that's an iffy one. But I'm trying to think ghost story. I can't say for certain that I've ever seen a ghost myself. I will say I seen a UFO one time, and it is the stupidest story ever, and I feel like it's the most ridiculous thing of all time. I was driving out of New Regal, and I seen it. I thought it was a drone.
Yeah.
And I was with Fat Jay, and we pulled over on the side of the road to look at this drone. And I swear to you, I was like, that is the largest drone I've ever seen in my life because it was hovering above this field. And we're waving at it because we think it's a drone. And then we, like, start to drive, and I'm, like, staring at it, and it goes over top of us. And it, dude, 100%, it was 100% a UFO. It was not a drone. I know that for certain. Like, nothing like I've ever seen. Flew right over top of us, and then when it got to the distance, it looked like an airplane. I was like, no.
That's not an airplane.
I was like, that was not an airplane. I was like, Jay, you seen that thing fly over us? And he's like, don't tell this story to people, Billy.
And here you are telling the story.
Yeah, he's going to be like, we look like idiots. But I will go to my grave saying that was 100% a UFO.
So, obviously, I feel like extending off that comment, you believe in aliens?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely. What sense does it make that there's not aliens?
Okay. This is the same question, the conversation I had with Dylan on our last podcast. Bringing it down, do you got with this UFO story, do you think aliens are on this planet or have been to this planet?
I think they are, but I don't think that they're like I don't think that you could be an alien.
Okay.
I think that, like, the aliens that have landed, they probably look different because they probably live on a different surface. But, yeah, I think that maybe they were just kept somewhere, and they tried to figure out how to talk to them or something.
So you think Area 51 is legit of testing on aliens and alien studies?
There's definitely alien studies out there for sure.
Yeah.
There's a Space Force, for Christ's sake.
That's new.
I know.
Yeah, that's true. It wouldn't be put in place if there wasn't something.
Right. Oh, with everything changing now too, like they're itching towards just being like, okay, we definitely have found aliens before.
Yeah. Bill, if an alien were to project itself right here in front of us right now, what would you say to this alien to keep them from destroying our species?
Like just killing us completely.
Yeah. What would you do to prove to them that they shouldn't do it?
I don't know. Probably just listen to them.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody needs, just to be listened to.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, everybody just wants to be listened to.
That's fair.
I probably wouldn't even say anything to him because I think what he has to say, I would have to. You know what I mean?
I picture us just like looking and staring and be like, what's up?
Yeah.
What do you guys say?
Hey, I'm not sure why you're here, but hey, let me hear it. And then shit, he might convince me. He's like, maybe these motherfuckers do need to die. I'm like, I agree with you, man. Take me with you. How warm is it?
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
He might convince me. You never know.
Yeah.
Never be too proud to be convinced of something else.
That's good, man. That's a good another Billism.
Yeah. They listen to him. And then you'd be like, shit, I agree. I don't really like that guy either. I don't even normally drink beer.
I know. This is why it's very surprising to me to see you drink beer.
I know. I didn't have any Cokes. Usually I'm a Jack and Coke guy.
Well, how's it sound episode 2? We'll have Jack and Coke and we can make sure Mason Bakey's is here.
Oh, yeah. Mason's got to stop by.
Okay. That will 100%.
I always love seeing that guy.
Yeah. Well, we'll make sure that happens next time we do one. Does that sound good?
Yeah, one of the first times I seen Mason, I say, hey, man, you want to come play pool? Like, we got a lot of people. And he's like, I'm not that good. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I can win with anybody. And he's like, I really don't want to. I was like, you ever masturbate? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, you know how to stroke a stick and hit some balls, man. Get over here.
It was game over from then, right?
Yeah, we've been hanging out since, man.
Nice.
He's a good dude.
I love it, Bill. So there's a couple more questions before we wrap this thing up. Big one that I ask everybody. I want to get your perspective. What do you think the meaning of life is?
The meaning of life, I think it's to, I would say that it's to learn, like, learn off one another and not necessarily, like, book smart. Like, learn emotion, learn trials and tribulations, learn, just to learn. I think that is part of life. I think being happy is a part of life. I feel like everyone should strive to try and be happy. Even if you're in a shitty spot, there's still like a very minute thing that you can find happiness in. And I always relate to that Louis C.K. story where he goes to Russia and they were in a depression. And he was in a depression himself. And he like had an encounter with a guy on a train station and they chuckled about it. And he's like, and that's all I needed. Like, to know that this guy's life is shitty and my life's shitty and we can still laugh about something. I think laughing is part of life. I think, you ever listen to the Jim Valvano speech?
I have not.
I watch it probably once a year, and he always says you need to do 3 things every day. If you do these 3 things, you'll have a full day. And that's laugh, cry, like have your emotions bring you to tears, whether it's happiness or sadness. And I can't remember the third one right now. I can't. But yeah, Jim Valvano's 3 things. I wish I could look it up. But
look it up.
3 things Jim Valvano. Let me see here.
No, you're good, man. Jim Valvano's. Who is this? I don't know who it is.
Jim Valvano was a basketball coach, and he had cancer, and he had cancer, and he had a team that barely made it to the tournament, and they ended up going really far. And it was like a really inspirational story. They do a Jim Valvano thing every year for ESPN. To me, there are 3 things everyone should do every day. Number 1 is laugh. Number 2 is think. Spend some time in personal thought. That's what it is. And cry every day, because that makes for a heck of a day.
Yeah. That's good, man. I agree 100%. They're laugh, think, and cry. There's a lot that can go on with those 3 things.
Yeah, and you should do that every day. If you do those 3 things, that's a full day. 100%. Laugh, think, cry.
Nice. So that's the meaning of life, huh? Just find happiness and...
happiness, learning, and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Enjoying yourself.
Hell yeah, dude.
You should definitely spend a moment of enjoyment every now and then.
Yeah. That's 100%, man. I agree. That's great insight, Billy. Thank you for the Billisms for this episode.
No problem.
Can we...
it turns out great.
I would like to end on one thing.
Sure.
We kind of got to it a little earlier, but if we're ending this podcast, can you end on one story that you want to share with me and people watching that you want to end it on and say, hey, this is a story I got to share with everybody. Let me say it one more time for this recording and go from there.
Oh man. Let me ask you this: what story do you want to hear?
Hey, whatever you think.
I know there's one story that you're like, Bill needs to. I wish Bill would have told this story.
Hey man, like I said, if we don't do it now, then we'll do it in a future episode. So whatever one you think that you want to end it on, that is worthy of saying and sharing for everybody to listen to.
Man, I used to tell this one story when I was really young, and it was like my first time like telling a funny story, and I remember all the New Rio kids loved it. And it's not even my story, but I would tell it in my perspective, and I'll tell it.
Okay.
And so I won't say his name, but sorry, Captain. I'm going to tell your story. So I have a buddy, his name's Captain Coon Dick. And some people probably know him, and I'm sorry. And so Captain, and I like to tell it from my perspective. So I had this car one time, and it was a nice car. It was nice. It was fast. And I had a pound of marijuana in my trunk, and the cops got behind me, and I scooted away, got away from them. and I had a pretty good job at the time. I had a life insurance policy, or not life insurance, a car insurance policy on the car, and it was worth $10,000. And I thought, man, if I wreck this car, I get a $10,000 car insurance policy, and I have a second car, so I'll just spend the $10,000 on marijuana, and we'll throw a huge party. Everybody's be invited, and so him and his buddy Bucky are in this car. And they're driving down River Road in Foster or Tiffin.
Yeah.
And they're going 45 mile an hour. Bucky, get in the back seat. So Bucky climbs the back seat. I climb to the back seat. And here we are in this car going 45 mile an hour, and it's steering itself. And I see an oak tree up the way, and I'm like, it's going right into that. I know it. We hit this tree, and when we hit the tree, I realized 25 mile an hour would have been plenty. Twisted my ankle, looked like a pretzel. So I get out, I got a stick off the roof. It was before cell phones, so we had to walk. So we walked to the nearest house. We're ringing the doorbell. They're not answering. So I'm sitting on the side of the road waiting for a car to go by. I see a car coming. I say, Bucky, get up. Wave that car down. And he's in a state of shock. Like he can't move. And the car drives by. Another car comes. I said, Bucky, my ankle is fucked. I can't get up. Please, you got to get up. You got to get up. And he's like, And I'm like, motherfucker. Like, I got to do it. I stand up. My stick breaks. Put all the pressure on my ankle. I almost black out. Another car's coming. So I crawl out to the side of the road and wave him down. He's like, I'll go get it. He gets his life insurance policy, $10,000. About to buy a shit ton of drugs. His hospital bill comes back, $10,000. Motherfucker. Luckily, he had a good job. So the insurance paid for the hospital bill. He buys $10,000 worth of weed. It comes in bricks. And he stacks it up in his closet. There's a little fireplace of marijuana bricks in his closet. And he says, usually when my mom finds my pot, she flushes it. And my mom found $10,000 worth of marijuana in my closet. And she said, that's too much to flush. So she let me keep it. And I used to tell that story all the time. And all the New Rural kids were like, I can't believe Bill did that.
I love it, man. That's good.
That was a classic story. Yeah. I love that one.
That's good, man. Bill, I love it, man. Thank you again for doing this. We've made it to the end. I'd like to congratulate you for doing this.
Thanks.
And I want to thank you for being a part of this.
I wanted to thank you for inviting me.
Hey.
Like I seen a couple episodes and I was like, man, I would like to do that. I would do it.
Awesome.
And then I ran into your brother and I was like, hey, I would do that. And he's like, I'll let him know.
Yeah. Bill, hey, thank you for the story span. I love them. It's always an experience. It's appreciative very much. And until next time, thank you for your time, and it's always a joy.
I love seeing you every time I run into you. It always puts a smile on my face.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll do another one. Oh,
and by the way, I ran into Troy Lucius the other day, and we were like chatting about it, and I was like, man, I'm nervous. What if I say something bad? And he's like, what could you say that would like be bad? And I said, well, what if I like come in, I'm like, well, Hitler's a good guy. And he's like, yo, don't say that. And I was like, well, he is, man. He killed Hitler, for Christ's sake. And he was like, please put that in there.
We made it in just at the very end.
Yeah.
Shout out to Troy, everybody else. Thanks, Bill, again. And until next time, my friend.
Yep. I hope you get some views.